There's a lot of interest in Germany these days, and it strikes me that although Germans are pretty good at making movies, there aren't many German movies, and they don't say very much about Germany or the German way of life. Maybe I should capitalize on this. I could make a movie based on my experiences of living in Germany. In fact, I could make several and dominate next year's blockbuster season. So here are 5 ideas for German movies about Germany. In Day of Unity, a young couple awake in their Berlin apartment to find the streets deserted. All the stores are closed and there's an eerie silence everywhere. Their initial panic gives way to horror as the discovery of a calendar reveals that it is in fact a public holiday. They realise that they must now survive the next 24 hours with no supermarkets, no banks, and not many buses. Can they survive, or will the creeping boredom finally overpower them? In fact, can you survive the creeping boredom and make it to the end of the movie? Construction Site is a knockabout comedy featuring 3 builders called Lowe, Carey and Murley and their doomed attempts to get a major project finished before the deadline. As one hilarious incident leads to another, the hapless trio find themselves increasingly behind schedule and over budget. As politicians get involved, the chaos only increases until the whole thing descends into farce. This is to be the first movie in a long-running serial, and already I've planned 6 sequels, including Construction Site Bankruptcy and Construction Site Cancellation. Tax Office is a psychological thriller about a man who is driven insane trying to file a tax return. After repeated attempts to sign into the electronic tax filing system, he finally snaps. Taking his laptop with him, he marches into the local tax office and takes his caseworker hostage. During the tense standoff, the hostage succeeds in lulling him to sleep by reciting the regulations regarding tax allowable expenses. The film is controversial due to its graphic depiction of mental torture, in particular, the scene where the tax filing software fails to connect and the protagonist has to create a new login from scratch. The token romantic comedy is called How to Date a German. It's about an all-American girl who falls in love with an all-German boy and moves to Germany. Being an all-American girl in a romantic comedy, she is at her most adorable when getting frustrated by her Dirndl, being drunk at the Oktoberfest, or accidentally causing offence by mentioning Hitler. But she learns to love Germany, and the two live happily ever after. The genius of this movie is the way that it tries to challenge cultural stereotypes about Americans and Germans, but actually reinforces them. Finally, a political thriller. The Minister is about a promising young politician whose career is brought crashing down by a series of major scandals. She rises quickly through the ranks, making it to cabinet, and is tipped to be the next Chancellor. But at this point it's revealed that she once used her official car to pick up her daughter from school, and everything starts to unravel. Accused of all sorts of abuses of office, ranging from the embezzlement of a packet of paper clips to attending a committee meeting hungover, she is forced out of politics, humiliated and destroyed. And that completes my series of German-themed blockbusters. Let the Oscar nominations rain down! Thanks for watching. If you'd like to send me a postcard, here's the address. And don't forget to visit my website and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Also, if you'd like access to special bonus content and help with the costs of running this channel, please consider making a small monthly donation on Patreon.